afternoon, everyone. Kenneth Lang here from a rainy New Jersey, which, of course, surprising not in and of itself, except they've closed schools around here, which is really surprising. I think they've closed about 7 or 8 school districts, and that's as much because of what happened with the hurricane. Um, and they don't want to take any chances. So, welcome, everyone. We have Christopher Johnson in the house from Detroit. And Christopher and thanks. I was on one of his events before, and we've met through Brenda Miller. So this is always a great conversation when I have with different people. And Christopher wanted to talk about getting out of your comfort zone today. And I'll first start by saying that second hardest thing I had to do or wanted to do is actually be on one of these LinkedIn lives and actually going out there and putting myself out there. But the hardest thing for me to do was when someone dared me to do karaoke one time. And it was work related. And I was all set to do it a certain way until someone took the song I wanted to sing.
So I have to ask, what was the song you wanted to sing?
I wanted to sing Sweet Caroline. I'm a Red Sox fan. I love Sweet Caroline. I love Neil Diamond. And someone took it before me, and I was like, what do I do? So, of course, what I did was I went to one of my favorite artists, David Bowie, which was a very big mistake because I ended up picking like Golden Years or something. And Golden Years is not an easy song to sing. But I did it, and someone actually unfortunately taped me, which was the worst part of it. So it wasn't but I say that because it was a lot of fun to do it. Once I got up there, I just didn't care.
So wait, there's video evidence of you having fun?
There's video evidence of me singing Golden Years, and looking back, it was really fun because of all the people around me who I worked with, and all of a sudden they were singing and they were doing all this stuff, and I had a couple of people saying what's Golden Years because of the age difference. So
okay.
Again, I want to have some shout outs here. Terry Seaman, who's one of my New Jersey connections, sang the theme from Gilligan's Island. And the sad part is I still know that to this day. There's something about the different themes.
Yeah.
And so that was getting out of my comfort zone. What about you? I mean, what have you done to get out of your comfort zone?
Well, I repeatedly bump into it. So on the topic of karaoke, I was really reluctant to try it because I thought I had to be good. Then I had some friends do karaoke and I realized, oh, you just have to have fun.
Well, do you want to try a karaoke on the spot and pick out a song?
No.
You don't even want to do a Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. It's been a hard day's night.
And I've been working like a dog.
There. Okay, so that's karaoke. It's been a hard day's night.
There you go.
I've been singing so that's just a little bit of fun here. So, but I mean, that's the thing. I mean, so there's got to be stuff that people that have struggled with within their comfort zone, things that they need to get out of it. I think especially from a business perspective or job search.
Exactly. And all right, on this platform, on LinkedIn, there's a lot of times where people are concerned it has to be perfect before it can be published. No. There are edit buttons. And if you make a mistake, well, it just proves that you are indeed human.
And that includes everything from when people post and there's typos. No one's going to really criticize you about a typo or a word. And ironically enough, if you go back and fix a post with a typo, that's going to negatively affect your reach, I've been told. Because you're not supposed to once you do a post, you're not supposed to edit it. So that's editing. So not saying it has to be perfect, but again, just knowing things. So Deborah Cunin, it's the fun factor that counts for sure. And Terry Seaman, yes, the fun factor can help. I find that the biggest struggle that people have is, you know what your comfort zone is, but how do you get out of it for the first time? I mean, first time for me was to actually do something in person, and it was actually a presentation. I was scared to death about doing a presentation. I could do it um, if I had to like talk to myself, but I was in front of all these people, I'm like, they're gonna make fun of me. They're gonna ask me something I don't know. So yeah.
And with things like that, what I like to do is build on my comfort zone to extend it. So with a presentation, I'm more comfortable if I know the material. That's always a given.
Hmm.
But if I'm only talking to one person, and that's all any of us are really talking to whenever we make a presentation, whether the audience is 10 or 10,000, we're just talking to one person and telling them what we want them to know. If we're
So
comfortable talking to one person, then hey, other people can listen in and learn as well.
So how did you get this wonderful voice? I have to ask because that's the type of voice that's a great voiceover voice or um, a voice. I mean, so is that something that you had to get trained at, or was it just did it come to you?
You know, this is just the voice I was given.
Okay.
Um, However, I have used it because I've always loved radio. So radio and broadcasting is what my undergrad degree is in. So that is a whole lot of fun. Um, Voiceover, yes. Currently, I am working on an audio book that should be out in January. So that is a lot of fun. It is it is really interesting because you have to read the book before you can read the book aloud.
Hmm.
And going over all of the pronunciations, all of the well, gee, when you read that, yes, it sounds perfect in your head. When you say it out loud, sometimes wait a second. All right, let's just slow down and say that again. So practicing those pronunciations, that gets to be fun.
It's funny that you mentioned broadcasting because that's where I got my degree in college from. I was a broadcasting major.
Wonderful. See, it's the best major.
It was cool because I got to intern at places and meet people that I never would have envisioned meeting with any of you who have ever heard of Joan London, who used to be on Good Morning America. She
Hmm.
was one of my professors. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was, and we've it was a cool thing because back then she was a local reporter. But what I wanted to do at this point also is post a couple of things from you. You actually shared with me a LinkedIn profile, I believe.
I did.
The challenge for me is to figure out if I can do a cut and paste of it. No, and that's what I like to do. Is I mean, if I can't do it there, then I'll send it after, and I can't do it. Okay,
That's
um,
fine. That's fine.
but this is what I like to try different things too at the time. So Deborah also says great voice, and I have to admit, it's a great voice. I could
Thank
see
you.
you um, doing a whole book and with the expressions, and I could see. I mean, I could totally, totally see that.
And all right, that's exactly what it is in studio. I am reading the book, and the engineer is watching me through the glass. And it is not staid and stoic. This
Mhm.
is what happened. And then something else happened. And then this last thing here happened. No, it is okay. And I am animated because how do you want to hear an audiobook? Do you want to hear just a monotone? No, no one does. You want someone to tell you the story, whether it's fiction or non. You want someone to be engaging. That is what captures and holds your attention. And going back to broadcasting for a second, so we both majored in broadcasting, and
Yes,
here we are in the StreamYard broadcasting studio.
that's cool. My career would have been in a much different direction if not for the boycott of the 1980 Olympics. I'll tell you why.
Oh,
I was all set to start at NBC. I had a job at NBC in the news department, and then the boycott happened, and all those employees from NBC had to be they had to find jobs for. So that was the first pivot. But again, it's just knowing a little bit about the background. And I think also when you talk about comfort zone, I'll look at it differently. There are some foods I've tried that have been I've been so afraid to try them. Didn't know I was going to like them or not, and I did it. And you know what? I thought to myself, what am I missing? And it's weird because some of that goes up when I was a kid. I would never eat certain things, and it's like, well, you're a kid, and I think that's a different type of comfort zone that you have to get past. Maybe that makes me more of a comfortable doing it in other ways.
Yeah, there's always a way to bump into it. And that with that little bit of initial discomfort, I like to ask myself why, if there is any real risk, and if I'm safe, then why not?
You bring up risk, which is like what it's a fear of failure. At some point, it's like what the worst thing that can happen sometimes is nothing, actually.
Yeah.
And we were talking like if no one joined this call, it would just be the two of us talking, and I'd love that. I mean, I'd be happy if people
Exactly.
were on the call, but that's the way I look at it.
It would still be a fun, engaging conversation.
So I got to find out. I mean, do you guys have certain things that you need to get out of your comfort zone from? I mean, I'd be curious to know. I mean, I know Christine. I know you're human. Can't wait to see you again. Christine is out in Central Jersey. I think it's recognizing what your comfort zone is. I mean, and it doesn't have to be related to networking or LinkedIn. I think I I'll use a different analogy. We've got so used to GPSs and driving around. Well, there was a time you didn't have a GPS or MapQuest or anything like that. Maybe you had a map from a station. You have to figure it out. So getting out of your comfort zones, I've been lost my share of times. And it's like, what do you do? Well, you figure it out.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I use with my daughters when teaching them how to drive.
Okay.
Well, all right. There are mile roads around here. So 8 mile, 9 mile, 10 mile on.
Okay.
They're all parallel. So if you're on one of them and I say, okay, even if you know nothing else, you know whether, and they run east and west. So you know you're headed east or west. If you can figure out what direction you want to go, all right,
Mm-hmm.
10 mile is north of 8 mile. Okay, so you have some directions now. So you can figure out using just the street names a little bit, you can figure out sort of where you are and where you might want to go.
I give you a lot of credit. I went through teaching both my sons how to drive, and I survived.
Oh, I
But
was
what?
I did wonder. You survived. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but not with, I mean, but it was getting out of my comfort zone because I wasn't driving. And the first time my older son made a turn and went into the wrong lane, which, yeah, fortunately there were no cars coming. And then my other son actually hit the gas instead of the brake one time. So of course we totaled the car. But again, it's a life lesson. And my reaction was how do you react to it? I mean, but we all have our levels of getting out of our comfort zone, and it's sometimes even making a phone call. I got to tell you, I'm a procrastinator, and things I don't like to do, and I'll have to do it. And Deborah's right, old habits die hard. Um, each time you start a new job, that's certainly a case for being out of your comfort zone, being that new kid on the block. Um, definitely. Um, so you have to figure out the best way to be comfortable. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
There was a quote I heard, I forget who said it. When was the last time you tried something for the first time? And that is always, getting out of your comfort zone.
And trying could be anything. During the pandemic, I was trying all different shows. Some I liked and some I didn't like. Um, I think recognizing what we're comfortable with is important, but it's taking a chance, you know. And I actually looked at a lot of what I'm doing as taking a chance. Now, you
Mhm.
know, you have a business which is was that hard to get started with or to take that leap when you did calm, clear communications?
Yes, because what I thought business was not what business is.
I love the name, first of all, calm, clear communications, because you're very calm and soothing with the voice. Is that where you kind of got the name from?
A little bit. It was the demeanor I engage with clients. So my background is IT.
Mm-hmm.
I am comfortable with IT. It doesn't matter if it is a program I've not worked with before, it's just a program.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are not comfortable with IT, and that's fine. When working with people and IT, it is fine. There's no real big worry or concern. The lights aren't going to flicker if you click on the wrong thing. These are not, this is people doing stuff on their home computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to make a mistake. Just try. And I was comfortable with that because I've made a ton of mistakes in coding programs. It's like, oh, zero versus O. Those are different keys on the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
But having that sort of comfort with technology and people, that's where the name Calm Clear Communications came from. Because people would say, oh, well, I can relax now. You're on the job. You're going to get this done. Yeah, I am.
I think also what works for me is admitting when I don't know the answer to something and I'm not going to bluff my way through it because I'm always learning like you are. I mean, I can figure stuff out, but if someone asks me a question, I think part of being a business owner is knowing what you can and can't do and when you have to rely on other people.
Exactly. And starting a business during a pandemic or any other time is always moving that comfort zone because, all right, now, gee, I am accounts receivable. Huh. Okay. Well, I need to send some follow up emails to make sure I get paid. I am the creative department. Oh, I need to write some content. I need to write some proposals. Huh. And it is always getting out of that comfort zone. The day of the event, preparing other people to speak or to manage or to run an event online, that's fun. And okay, but that day is a small portion of the overall experience of being a business owner.
Now, I noticed you shared this. You have a tedxdetroit.com site. So I've known some people in Detroit that are doing that. Is that, I mean, we don't kind of know what a TEDx, but go ahead.
I'm one of them.
You are.
I am.
So, what are some of the topics you've talked about?
My function at TEDx Detroit is the backstage announcer, or what they call the voice of God. So I
Okay,
am backstage. Please welcome Kenneth Lang to the TEDx Detroit stage.
cool.
And, it is coming up November 10th. There are a few seats still available. It is going to be an in person and online event.
So that brings up the thing. Is there a difference? What do you find is the difference between in person and online? I mean, do you feel a little bit more nervous or worried if you're in person with your appearance, or have you just gotten to the point that it doesn't really make a big difference?
I like the in person. I like live events because, like radio and TV and broadcasting, there's really no net. You just have a forward momentum, and that's it. If I flub someone's name and I work really hard to not do that,
Voice of
then there's only forward movement.
When I listen to you, I think about Morgan Freeman actually, because the same type of voice. What I love on top of everything else is the intonation and the spacing and the breathing. and the waiting, because that's something I know I do struggle with at times. It's so important, and it's like I don't have to wait so much when to respond back because of the breaks. And is that something that you got better at over time, or is that just something that you?
It has just always been my manner of speaking,
Mhm.
which made me a little bit different than the other members of my family.
Okay.
When we all get together, my children look at me and they look at my siblings and think, "Are you sure you were all in the same household?" Yes, yes, we were. My siblings talk more similarly to each other than I talk to them. Again, as a kid, I spent a lot of time listening to the radio. I spent a lot of time reading books. I am and have been a voracious reader for as long as I can remember.
So Terry agrees pausing and breathing is so important. And I think if nothing else, when you get out of your comfort zone, you got to just try something different every day. But that something different doesn't have to be a big leap. You know, I think for me, getting out of the comfort zone the first time was, believe it or not, picking up the phone on a follow up many years ago. I was like almost afraid for someone to answer the phone. Like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say?
Exactly. Yeah. I understand that. And I've had that same thing. And I talk myself into just making the call, just doing that one next thing. What I tell my kids, making the call, uh, sending the email, that moves the ball from your court to theirs because it's not going to be a monologue, it's going to be a conversation. So it's simply moving the ball along, getting it out of your court. Get comfortable with that. So we'll see if my kids listen.
I don't know. I mean, kids, the kids, I don't know, how old are your kids?
19 and 17.
All right. Well, mine is 20, I think 28 and 22. But so they listen a little more, but it's not the same thing. I mean, but I have to. So, all right, Terry, how did we meet? Well, we met, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we meet through Brenda Miller?
We did.
We did.
Via Brenda Miller.
And I don't, were you on one of her LinkedIn live-a-thons, or maybe you were maybe at one of her events or something? Or
I think you were on one of her LinkedIn live-a-thons, and
okay,
I made a comment and invited you to connect.
okay.
And you said, "All right, if you're a friend of Brenda's, I guess I'll acquiesce. I'll say yes."
And then you invited me to your show.
I did.
Um, I just think, I mean, through meeting you and others, it's just been so great. But I got to be honest, I've said this before to Brenda. I was so afraid to connect with her the first time.
I understand.
I was so afraid. I was like, "What's going to happen? Am I going to get flagged?" And it took me about 3 months to get up the nerve to connect with her.
I you know, yeah, it is some of that imposter syndrome, and it is it can seem daunting, but at the same time, it's just moving the ball forward. It is just making, hey, I made a comment on something that you posted because that resonated with me. And oh, connect? Sure, let's do that.
Yeah.
But just having that conversation, just moving a little bit out of your comfort zone. That's why I encourage people to post on a regular basis so that it is not so big a task. The first time you post, all right, okay, I have spent the last 36 hours carving out this exact post, and it's going to be, dag nabbit, a typo? Okay, but if you spend 5 minutes, then just 3 minutes, then just a minute, and post on a regular basis, oh, huh, yep, there's a typo. And you just keep going.
I think what I've learned from you and from other people is the ability to be myself a little more, and be willing. to accept some of the things that I need to do better, and also just to keep learning. Because for me, what I've loved about everything going on is I've gotten to meet so many people from all over the world, and not just meet them, but speak to them. And I keep saying, and it's true, I can't wait to go meet everyone in person. And I have that plan next year. Hopefully, I was going to have that plan this year, because this is great. But what's even greater is getting together and seeing someone and talking to them. I don't know if you realize, but I'm 6'5.5", and I don't know how tall you are, but it's like the joke that we had amongst ourselves when we met in person for the first time. It's great to see your legs for the first time, because you're on a Zoom call, so you can never really see the person's. So that was the joke.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sure you're. I'm not commenting on your legs one way or the other or anything like that, but
I have been going to the gym.
okay.
Never mind. No, I
But
understand completely.
going into the gym.
Oh,
Going to and going into are two different things.
that is true. Well, the gym right now is where I can most easily swim
Okay.
because of the changing weather. Okay, yeah. Open water swimming is now out of the question. But a gym, I can go and I can get a good swim. But yeah, the height thing, yes, it is interesting because online, everyone is roughly the same height.
Right.
I am not 6'5", but I am 6'1".
Okay.
So, yeah, um, it will be interesting. The rumor that I spread,
Mm-hmm.
Brenda is over 6 feet tall. She has a bright, outgoing, vibrant personality, despite being an introvert.
Yeah, I know. We were totally stressing before I went on the LinkedIn Live. We were both stressing, and even afterward, and it's fun. I didn't realize she was an introvert at the time.
And that's what's interesting. There are a lot of introverts on this platform moving out of their comfort zones by doing things like this. I mean, I'm an introvert. And yeah, as Deborah said, showing interest.
Yeah, I'll put it back. Showing
That's
interest is a good start. Ask a question relative to the topic being posted.
exactly. That's a great point. It's not a conversation isn't a monologue, it's a dialogue. Showing interest, genuine interest, waiting and listening for the answer. Listening to understand as opposed to listening to reply.
I think if nothing else out of today, when you listen to us, it's just the idea of having a conversation. I mean, not every event has to have a topic with an agenda. And I think we talked about that. I mean, I'm not a big agenda topic person. When we do these, I like to see where the conversation goes, because it becomes much more freeform that way, and people feel, I hope, hopefully more engaged.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, what was the biggest change for you in your comfort zone and your business during this pandemic or during the shift to working from home? But
The
you've been
biggest,
working from home for a while.
yeah, the biggest comfort zone for me was actually having calls like this,
Mm-hmm.
and having to be on as much as possible, but also realizing halfway along the way I needed to take some time to decompress in between the calls, because I'd be on calls morning till night, and I was like, this is not working. But I think, for me, the challenge was in the beginning just trying things. I had the ability to try things here I couldn't have tried in real life, but I have to say that the pandemic was probably, I hate to say a good thing because that's not the right way to put it, but it gave me the opportunity to get more relationships and more connections than I ever could have imagined before. And I'll take that with me, going forward. Conversations like this, and that's absolutely true. I mean, we're talking, but we're not saying this is how you do this. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. It's not. That's you can get that from anywhere, and I really don't think that's really relevant. I think just listen, be a part of it, be part of these conversations, and you just don't know what your takeaway is going to be.
That's true. It is active listening and being being ready to be curious instead of having a set agenda. Here's exactly what I need to cover. I'm not taking any questions. Here's what you get to learn. Well,
Mhm.
that's not really a learning environment. With software,
Mhm.
there's usually at least 3 ways to get something done. It's not that way by accident. People learn and are comfortable with different things. Some people only use keyboard shortcuts.
Mhm.
Some people like to use a mouse and a GUI interface. Others, okay, there are other ways. That's a combination. But those methods allow for different people to learn in a manner that's best for them. And with conversations, it is being curious,
Mhm.
being interested, and listening so that you can understand and absorb in a way that's best for you. Reflect, and then it's like, oh, I have a different understanding of that now.
Being curious for me has been a big thing because I've learned so much about myself and from so many other people that I could never have learned just by going online or reading about it. I think, I love this from Deborah. Circumstances present an opportunity that I leverage to my advantage. I appreciate that. I mean, for me, when I started doing these a while ago and I did
Mhm.
the Zoom calls, the good thing about being on a Zoom call is you could actually hide behind and not actually have to show your face, or you could do something else. But I wanted more because I wanted to keep testing myself. I wasn't happy with what I had done. I mean, I was happy, but I want to do more, and I want to do more. My next thing is to try to do videos. I'm not going to be a TikTok person, but I want to try because why not?
Exactly. And hey, if the worst thing is looking foolish, okay, I think I've had that covered before.
I have. I mean, it's you know, when I look at the video now, which I do, I have to laugh at it, but I also have to say that's great that you did it. And I think um, if I could give one takeaway to people on the call, just try something different. Create. You could actually anyone can create an event on Zoom or have a conversation with someone. It's easy entry. I know a lot of the people on this call, and I've met them. I just wonder what the comfort zones would be, you know, to do it.
And I will add on to that. They should write in the comments after they've done this what they did to expand or extend their comfort zone. What are they planning to do in the remaining days of 2021? Was there something in their comfort zone or on their list to do in 2021 and that they can get done before 2022 to expand their comfort zone?
And I would also say, and I've done this a lot, I've gone back to things I've done in 2020 and 2019, and what have I done that's worked? What have I done that hasn't worked? Because I also believe you can learn a lot sometimes from failing, even more than by succeeding.
Absolutely. At the very least, you get a good story. Oh, I tried that.
Yeah.
Whew.
When in doubt, ask yourself, as you have stated, why not? And it's true. Everyone here is just as valuable and has just as much to offer as Christopher and I do. Um, and that's a hard concept for some people to realize, but we are. And I call this my Dr. Phil time because it probably is, but it's like everyone has value, in what they do. It's just feeling comfortable in sharing that value.
Exactly. And being curious about what others bring to the table or the environment or the discussion.
I think that there are so many people on this call. I don't know everything about them. I know what they've shared over time, and I would love to keep learning more. And I'm sure you would too, Christopher. I would definitely recommend um, giving something like this a shot. I actually put this out there one time. Anyone who wants to be on one of these calls with me, let me know. I mean, I've made that, and I some people do respond back. I mean, this is my purpose for doing this. I don't have an ulterior motive. I mean, I'm not, if it works, great. But this is an opportunity for me to try things and have other people try things too. They tell us on LinkedIn Lives not to talk about LinkedIn too much, which is true. But I said at the very beginning, I said, I want to have a conversation with people. I don't want to really talk about, I mean, we can talk about strategies and things, but it's much more about let's just talk through stuff, whatever the stuff is.
Exactly. Let's have a conversation.
And the conversation might yield different things. I mean, when I've had people on, I want to know more than just what I know about you on LinkedIn and vice versa.
Absolutely. And see, one of the things I learned and am enjoying,
Brenda,
we both have a broadcast background.
Hey, Brenda. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I started out, I'll share, I was back when I was 11, 12 years old, I started stamp collecting. I still stamp collect a little bit, although it's not the same thing. But I did that because I was an introvert. It gave me an opportunity to spend hours upon hours putting stamps in an album, not having to respond to anyone. And it gave me an opportunity to learn. And, from that has come other things. I mean, I was that person that was always reading the book in the room, really didn't want to deal with stuff. But I think you get better after a while. You realize there's more to it. My wife is an extrovert, thank God. So she really took me out of my comfort zone, forced me out of my comfort zone. I'm happy she did, but took a bit of time.
I understand. And my wife is another introvert.
Okay.
But being parents has definitely moved us way beyond our comfort zone.
You can say that again.
Well, here's one of the things I mean about that. All right, so we're all introverts in the house, and now we have to send our kids out into the world. And when you send them out to school, there's that, wait a second, I'm going to have to keep doing this for the next 13 years? Meeting with other people's parents? Okay, I can do this.
So Meryl, I'm gonna put the information for the website and contact info in the chat afterward. I can't actually put the comments on LinkedIn apparently, but I will definitely share that. Or Christopher, you're welcome to do it as well because Meryl, he's probably in your space and could definitely work with you on that too. So, and I apologize, I
Wonderful.
did not do that on my own. LinkedIn says can't post comments to LinkedIn. Learn more.
Interesting.
Remember, and when we were in the private chat, we were able to have those conversations. So I'm not going to click learn more now, but I do want to learn more. I always want to learn.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes during a live event is not the time to press the big red shiny button. I wonder what this does.
I've done that before, and I've actually ended a broadcast.
Oh, yeah. Same. But see, that's the fun thing about this. StreamYard is our broadcast studio.
Exactly.
We can have fun with it.
And we are. Do you have any plans coming up?
Well, working
Networking.
diligently toward
What about
TEDx
network-
Detroit.
What about networking events? I think you posted a couple that you were going to be doing.
So let's see. I have a LinkedIn Live tomorrow with Gail Lance, and we're going to talk about leadership.
Okay.
On Friday, Brenda has a VIP office hours for those that are seeking their next success. And I offer a Zoom tip every week on that. And that is a wonderful, encouraging environment. So I would encourage people, if you know somebody who is looking for their next great opportunity, they're between successes, they're in transition, they should sign up definitely for Brenda's VIP office hours.
I had the pleasure of being what is Brenda's asking? What is TEDx Detroit? I think Brenda may have missed a little bit. Okay.
TEDx Detroit is November 10th
The date.
at the Icon in Detroit. If you go to tedxdetroit.com, you can buy tickets for the in-person event, or on the day of, if you're not in the Metro Detroit area, you could stream it. Or if you're not comfortable going to an in-person event.
Thank
And
you.
we are having socially distanced practice, but to each his own for their comfort level.
So Nancy posted Clear Communications.
Thank you, Nancy.
Brenda posted the Mellor Marketing Friday VIP, which is great. And I was going to say thank you, Brenda, because I was on as a guest one time, and I know a lot of the people that are on our calls are connecting with me too. I love this this whole idea of collaboration here and people willing to share. I mean, I'm so happy. Chris's website is above. Yes,
Thank you very much.
No, thank you also very much for being here. You're welcome, Nate. but that's what I love about my tribe. I always talk about having a job search posse or a networking posse, basically a bunch of people that will help each other and support each other. And you guys are really great helping me out here in ways that I'm still trying to figure out what to do.
But see, you made it through. There was no panic.
No,
it's a beautiful thing, right?
No panic at all. I don't panic and that's the thing as a project manager. I don't panic easily. I mean, when I was in corporate as a project manager, and when I was on call and having to fix stuff on the weekends, back when they had beepers and pagers, you learn.
Exactly. I like that motto. I don't panic easily.
I don't and when you have kids especially, there's a difference between panic with kids and panic with something at work.
Indeed. What we used to call, with small kids, they have different types of cries.
Mm-hmm.
The cry that something's wrong, but I think I have it figured out. Or the other end of the spectrum, oh my gosh, I need to run in there right now.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're fine. They're fine.
They're fine. Like the first time our kids slept through the night, it's quiet. Is everything okay? Well, it was.
Exactly.
So I want to thank you very much, Christopher, for being on today. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time in case they have a call at 2:00.
And thank you. This has been just a wonderful conversation.
It has been. That's why I say I hate having things scripted. I mean, sometimes you have to have them scripted for an event, but this is just so much easier because it's just two guys chatting about anything but football.
Exactly. So leave a comment about how you're going to expand your comfort zone between now and the end of the year. Let us know.
And also use that as a post on LinkedIn. Anything. I mean, if you're looking for a post, talk about getting what you did out of your comfort zone. Talk about something like that. I mean, the best content, I think we would all agree, comes just from real life experiences.
The best content is personally relevant.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone. I'm going to be away next week, actually, on vacation. Going down, taking a week-long vacation for the first time since I can't remember when.
Well, enjoy.
I'm going to. Two empty nesters actually enjoying life for a week. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.